The Turkish government is warning of the risk of a second attempted coup. Both President Erdogan and his Prime Minister, Binali Yildrim, have addressed their supporters after the first Friday prayers since a faction in the military tried to take power. They want people to stay calm following the declaration of a state of emergency. And they're defending a crackdown that the EU has described as, quote, unacceptable. Now, this is the man who the government blame. He's in the States, of course, living in exile. He's the religious leader Fethullah Gulen. They accuse him of plotting the coup attempt. It wants the US to speed up his extradition. As we've been saying, the Prime Minister, Mr. Yildrim, is warning there is a risk of a second attempted coup, but he's urging people to not listen to any rumours.
This terrorist organization failed to succeed in its objectives, and now they are spreading rumors which are not to be taken seriously by any sensible person. Everything is available in this country. There are no shortages of anything. To those spreading these rumors, I say it is a great mistake.
Well, of course, the situation as of this hour, as of today in Turkey, the state of emergency very much in place. The speculation, the informed speculation, is that the state of emergency will be in place and in play for at least 6 weeks, possibly 3 months. There are some critics of the Erdogan presidency saying that state of emergency might be in place for longer than 3 months. We've seen thousands of people arrested, thousands of people detained. Also, equal numbers of people who've been suspended from their teaching jobs in the world of education and also from their ancillary jobs in the world of the judiciary. Jamal Elshayyal is live for us in Istanbul here on the NewsHour. Jamal, what's your reading of the comments we've had today from both the President and the Prime Minister?
Peter, as far as Erdogan's concerned, obviously he started off with what we come to expect from him, a defiant message saying that the will of the people was much stronger than the technology of the weapons that were planned to be used against them, that the people had demonstrated that their resolve is unbreakable. He did, however, follow it up by also some conciliatory tones of trying to build upon the momentum of unity that we've seen in terms of the cross-section of political society that's come together against this military coup. He said that we will be one, we are brothers, and we will face this together. How that will translate is going to be interesting to find out. He is scheduled to speak to the country's parliament later on Friday. Whether he will just suffice to thank them for the different political parties coming out in the very early hours of this attempted coup last Friday in defiance to this coup, or whether he will actually maybe announce some type of initiative of reconciliation and maybe national unity. We'll wait and find out. As far as the the emergency law is concerned, people here are going about their lives normally. There has been no change in terms of how that emergency law has impacted on their lives. So there isn't any restriction of movement, there isn't any curfew, there isn't any restriction of public gatherings. But then again, this emergency law has only been announced roughly about just over 24 hours ago. And as you mentioned, it will be lasting around about at least 6 weeks, possibly 3 months. The government is saying that it is only putting this in place in order to expedite the way in which it can legislate specific things with regards to rooting out those who it believes have infiltrated state institutions in an attempt to overthrow democracy. Obviously, there have been noises made of concern, rather, or expressions of concern from critics of the government, but so far that hasn't been anything more than that in terms of concern. Whether this will play out into something bigger, obviously, time will tell, Peter.
And what do we make of these apparent fears on the part of the government that there might be another attempted coup? I mean, surely, point number one, there's nobody left in the system who could stage a coup. And point number two, even if there is somebody within the judiciary or the world of politics in Turkey, they'd be insane to mount another coup at the moment.
Well, a lot of observers thought that the initial attempt was insane in itself, because Erdogan, despite having strong critics, he also has hugely a number of supports here, and democracy itself is very much valued here across the political spectrum. So the sanity condition isn't really a prerequisite for those wanting to attempt a coup, to be fair. But in terms of if there's anybody left out there, well, it's important to know, up until yesterday, there was clashes between the police and members of the military. There are still some military bases or installations that have people who were in support of the coup holed up into them. This operation by no means is over yet, Peter, even a week into this. And in fact, as far as the massive roundup of people is concerned, a lot of people we've been speaking to say that it's not an attempt to silence people in so much as it's an attempt that the government actually is still not sure where exactly, who is on which side. So it's more of a precautionary measure of just trying to find anybody who could be anywhere near maybe 3 or 4 degrees away from these people. They will be brought into questioning. If the government feels that they find any, or if authorities rather feel that they find any evidence that would link them, then they will be prosecuted. If not, they will be released. But there is still a lot of people out there who are on the run or who are holed up somewhere. And as far as they're concerned, maybe it's a kind of, a life or death situation, so they may as well go out fighting.
Jamal, thanks very much.